Hello, everybody. Accureye here, and welcome back to another Accureye Talk Serial and another part into the ultimate how to play every character guide. This is part two, and of course, in part two, we are talking about Octane. But if you do not know what the ultimate my ultimate playthrough guide is of, you know, characters on Apex Legends, let me just give you a quick rundown. The ultimate Apex Legends guide of me running down characters is basically to introduce and to help you decide if this character is right for you. Now, I am doing this from my least used character to my most used character. And with that being said, I'm going to go through all the characters, you know, going forward, including the new ones as they get released. So today, of course, we are going through Octane, who's my second least used character, but not as least used as Bloodhound. So let's go ahead and get started. So Bloodhound was the first two parts. This is going to be part 3 and part 4. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into part 1 and 2 for Octane. So, Octane, what is he? Well, of course, for those of you who don't know about Octane, Octane is a speedster character. He's all about taking risks, making dangerous moves, trying to get in quick to a fight and get out as quickly as possible. That's kind of his biggest strength, is to get into a fight quickly and get out as quickly as possible. If you can't get in and out as quickly as possible, well, let's face it. If you don't like trying to get into a fight and get out of a fight as quickly as possible, then you're going to have some trouble with Octane. He's basically the speedster of every character. He basically needs to end fights as quickly as he comes in. So, of course, with that having been said, it does mean that he's basically going to have to, utilize that speed of his, make moves that are dangerous overall. And because of that overall danger that he has to make, it means that he's going to be playing it risky all the time. So any moment for an Octane player could be, a moment where you bite the dust. And of course, if that does happen, that does happen. But hopefully not. Hopefully, your next move as Octane, and especially when you're engaging on people, is not the last move you'll be making on, on a character or on someone. Because, it's very, very likely that, the first move that you enter with in an attack could be the last move that you'll enter with. But, I mean, obviously, I will go over the best weapons for him later on. But yeah, that's just something that you gotta think about. Is he is a speedster character, but how do you use him properly? Should you use his stems all the time? And no, my opinion is, when the time that is right to use the stems is when you're, of course, in a fight, because his stem not only works for of course being single fire, but also being in the in the overall, ultimate fire, or of course, when you're in an attack. Because again, when you have a attack en route, or you're thinking about attacking, if you stem up on somebody, you also have speed going left and right, or strafing somebody. And because you'll have that speed strafing people, it opens up a lot of options for your attack patterns. Most people, I think, when they see Octane and when they start to use Octane, they're looking at maybe only moving forward or back. There's not really much of a time where you're thinking about using the stem to basically make yourself move left to right or strafe a little bit. Now, also, one other thing about the stem that many people make a mistake of using is they overuse it all the time. Now, because, of course, Octane's stem comes back so quickly, it's easy to accidentally overuse it and overextend yourself as far as, your risk slash reward goes. Now, there are times where the stim could be the risk slash reward and could be easily, or could be easier overall to get, good overall advantage with. But in general, I can't say that there would be times where you will have a moment that requires your attention to stim more than once, especially in a fight. If you're good enough, you shouldn't have to stim more than once, and that's one of Octane's main abilities. This is stim. That's his stim. Basically allows him to go faster. His passive is his regeneration. As you probably have noticed, Octane can regen himself into, full health, which means that, as long as you're staying out of battle long enough, you shouldn't have to worry too much about your health needing a refill all the time. I've seen plenty of Octanes who end up using their meds for no particular reason other than the fact that they lose so much health utilizing that stem to go faster, that, it ends up with them being, too much on the stem and not enough on the, too much on the stem, not enough on the old, you know what I mean. Not enough on the old, regen period. And of course with, Octane's ultimate is like an eject pad, as he says the eject pad, and as you'll see, it basically, as you saw me using it, it basically just allows you to jump and go higher or farther than most places. So, yeah. But anyway, here you'll see me utilizing some of Octane's abilities, and as you'll see here, I'm trying to, basically utilize those abilities to get the advantage. As you'll see here, I stem up, try and utilize my abilities here, and as my team is getting into the fight here, I'm like, oh, whoa, I gotta, dance out a little or jump up, pop myself up a little bit. And I mean, again, the risk is always going to be factored in here. As you can see, there are times where like the risk just doesn't always pay off, and obviously here's one of those times where I got one of those times where basically the risk didn't pay off. But it's okay, because technically this guy eliminated himself, or in a sense this guy eliminated himself because I took him down long enough or quick enough to basically be eliminated. But yeah, that's one of the main things you gotta think about here is like, how to, utilize all of the abilities. And of course, here you'll see me eventually, I think, using Octane's little jump pad or, the ejector seat in a way. And I mean, obviously, utilizing these abilities can obviously make you better overall. Yeah, as you'll see here. So, you want to make sure that you know your abilities. Like, Octane, he's great at escaping the ring when it's necessary. As long as you're not overusing your stems, he's great at escaping the ring. And, this kind of is showing you some of the good points about Octane going forward. Now, you may not be as lucky to have, of course, or be as close to the ring. But, overall, obviously, Octane needs to be fast. He needs to be speedy. He has to have times where things are just going to, work out overall for him. Because, again, like I said, you'll see it happen a lot, and you'll see it happen to where, you have to have moves that are good to make sure that you are ready for, what happens next, in a sense. But, also just be ready for the attack if it's necessary. Because, like, you'll see times where, like, here, it's like, here's where one of those times where all of a sudden I just had to, take action. Because, But, you'll see that happen a lot for me from time to time. Where, you have to really know when to put action into place for yourself, because again, like I said, there are times where, like it is, you got moments where you just gotta be able to utilize that speed. Here I got confused because I wasn't sure where my teammate was, and then I finally went up and I noticed where they landed. But yeah, it's like that's one of the main things about like the game is, being able to know when to, of course, utilize your abilities to their fullest. Because again, when you utilize your abilities to your fullest, you'll have a much better chance of being able to, survive for the most part. And Octane is great for people who don't mind taking a risk. It's just you gotta remember that it's a risk/reward system. If you're not willing to risk things, then, obviously, Octane may not pay off for you. If you like playing safe, Octane may not pay off for you because he's not really a so-called play safe character. He's more that character who's in there to try and risk it all and win, or risk it all and get caught. So, utilize Octane's speed as well as you can to basically, make waves for your team. But also make sure that you don't take on a more than one character scenario. Octane is not the greatest at taking on more than one unless you can separate them. And let's face it, 9 out of 10 times you may not be able to always separate the team from their, like, I guess you could say, bowling pin position, because let's face it, a lot of times most players will play out the whole bowling pin decision. But yeah, that's my guide on Octane. And if you like this video, hopefully this guide has helped you a little bit with preparing to play Octane and preparing yourself to be a better Octane overall. If you like this video, you know what to do. Hit the like button, get subscribed, hit the bell notification, because I know you want to know when my next video drops next. Thank you, everybody, for joining me today on this video. Thank you for watching this video. I am live on Twitch at www.twitch.tv/Accureye. I am live on Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday for sure. But lately, I've also been live on Monday and Tuesday. Monday and Tuesday, I'm live for about 2 to 3 hours, usually. And then Wednesday and Thursday, I'm usually live for about 3 to 4 or 4 to 5 hours. But with that being said, thank you, everybody, for joining me today on this video. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for hanging out. And, yeah, until the next one, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And, yeah, come join me on Twitch if I didn't already say it before and you haven't already heard of it. My Twitch channel is www.twitch.tv/Accureye. And, yeah, thank you everyone for joining me. Thank you for watching. And until the next one, everybody, this is Accureye, like I said, signing out and saying, farewell, everyone.